And with that, we say hello and welcome to a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ. The cavalcade of stars continue here in studio alongside Ohio State national champ Cardale Jones and former All-American tight end Adam Breneman. I am Hakeem Dermish. The final ranked-on-ranked game in Week 3 takes us to South Bend. Number 8 Notre Dame hosting 16th-ranked Texas A&M, and this game coming down to the wire. It was awesome. Notre Dame coming off a bye week, looking to avoid starting 0-2 for the first time since 2022. We pick it up with 3 minutes to go, tied at 34. Notre Dame with a 1st and 10 on the Aggies 12. Handoff to Jeremiah Love, and he's in for the touchdown. Now, on the point after try, Cardale, Tyler Buckner fumbles the snap.
This is tough. This is tough right here, man. Had a chance to really secure this win or ultimately push this thing for overtime if A&M go down here and score, but hey.
One more chance for the Aggies, and Adam, it's Nate Borkircher.
Yeah, it's an amazing job by Borkircher. A boxing out the defender, Marcel Reed finds him in the end zone. That is the game-winning touchdown for the blocking tight end Borkircher. Career play, Texas A&M stuns Notre Dame.
One catch for Borkircher. It was a big one as Marcel Reed finds him, and Texas A&M hits the extra point. They do not fumble the snap. They win this one 41-40. Marcel Reed throws a couple of touchdowns, throwing for 360 yards. C.J. Carr threw a touchdown and a pick. This game was wild as Texas A&M wins in the end, their first ranked road win since 2014, and for Notre Dame, 0-2 for the first time since 2022. All right, back here with my guys, Cardale Jones and Adam Breneman, and wow, that game was bonkers in the end. I want to start here. Tyler Buckner. The bad snap. What do you do in that situation? I mean, he tried to improvise and tried to get the two-point conversion, but just the breakdown of that play, what did you see?
You know what, as me and Adam talked about it as we was upstairs watching the game, and they executed the fire drill. I mean, if he would have made a better throw, maybe we'd be talking about a 42-41 type of game. But at the end of the day, you got to do the first thing is first. It's securing the snap as a holder. And some way, somehow, that didn't happen and ultimately cost them the game.
Every single team in practice, at least every week, is practicing that drill for what happens if the holder fumbles the snap. And Buckner did the right thing, rolled out to his left, had a receiver open in the end zone, which for the two-point conversion, but missed him unfortunately. And we saw Buckner shown on the broadcast a few times on the sideline. Really tough spot to be in, but that's why we love football, because it comes down to those literal game of inches. The special teams can make or break it.
How about the drive put together by Texas A&M there in the end, Marcel Reed? And, of course, it was aided by a holding call, which you never want to see late in the game, and now Notre Dame is 0-2. But what did you see there from Marcel Reed in that final drive?
Composure. This kid is playing well beyond his years so far as a young quarterback, as A&M taking over his real first-time tough environment, going on the road and playing a really good Notre Dame team. But having a touchdown from kick return to the house called back and then some penalties leading to this game-winning drive, and for him to still go out there and make a play like this, giving his guy a chance, the blocking tight end a chance for the game-winning touchdown, that speaks composure, that speaks leadership, and that speaks experience from a young guy like this.
Especially after those penalties on the game-winning drive for Texas A&M, it shows you how explosive Marcel Reed really is. The fact that when Texas A&M's behind the sticks, when they're in 3rd and 4th down, there was still never really a doubt that A&M had a chance to convert on every single one of those plays. And on that touchdown play, where Reed rolls out and finds Borkircher in the end zone for the game-winning touchdown, that's where you get the dual threat ability of Marcel Reed, where he can extend plays for the extra 1 or 2 seconds. It's not always, Cardale, the explosive plays. It's not always the explosive runs. It's can he extend for the 1 or 2 seconds to let his receiver get open. He did exactly that. If he wasn't as mobile and couldn't keep his eyes downfield, that play probably doesn't happen. Marcel Reed showed us why he's becoming and growing into one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC.
And, Adam, how about Nate Borkircher? Only one catch, and that's it, the game winner.
I love seeing a tight end with the game-winning touchdown. And just think about that. For a young kid who doesn't get the ball very often, to make a play like that in that moment. What I loved about Borkircher's play there, he used his body to his advantage, boxed out the defender, didn't try to out-jump the defender, just said, I'm bigger and stronger than you, and called it for the game-winning touchdown. That's a play he'll remember for the rest of his life.
So Texas A&M goes into South Bend, knocks off Notre Dame. And now Cardale Jones, Notre Dame, who was in the national championship 1 year ago, is now 0-2. What does this mean?
Man, it's an uphill battle. But we said the same thing when they started 1-1 after the loss to Northern Illinois at their home opener in almost similar fashions, coming down to the last seconds of the game. And we saw, you look at the remainder of their schedule. I'm not sure this schedule has enough in it to even go 10-2 at the end of the season and be considered one of the top 12 teams in the country. This is going to be an uphill battle. They're going to need a lot of things to happen in their favor that they have no control of. And I'm talking about a lot of teams, a lot of guys in the top 5 and the top 10 going down each and every week.
Did this end their playoff?
I don't think so.
You don't? They still have a shot.
If a Notre Dame team who lost to Miami and Texas A&M runs the table, wins 10 in a row to end the year, it's hard to keep a 10-2 Notre Dame team out of the playoff.
But it's not an impressive.
Anything can happen, though. We also we saw it last year. We're talking about 3 lost teams last year making the playoffs. So I really think Notre Dame's been in this position. Marcus Freeman knows how to rally his guys, rally the troops, get them together. They played 2 really good teams to start the season. I think Miami and Texas A&M may be 2 of the best teams in the country that we're going to see will be in the college football playoff. So there's still a lot of time left, and 10 in a row for Notre Dame. The committee's going to like that resume.
I agree here with Cardale. I don't know if there's going to be enough on the schedule because, look, I mean, they got Purdue coming up, then they're at Arkansas. Maybe Arkansas is ranked. I mean, they're just coming off a loss to Ole Miss tonight, so you don't know if they're going to have any possibility. You know, maybe USC is ranked when we, come to October by then, and maybe you have some quality wins, if you will, but this is not a schedule that says, if they run the table, they're a lock for the college football playoff, because you're going to look at teams in the Big Ten, a 2-loss Big Ten team, a 2-loss SEC team, and you're going to go, they played a tougher schedule.
Yeah, and I think the quality wins may come at Arkansas, USC, and at Navy, because Navy's going to be pretty good and competitive like they was last year. But even with that Navy win that they had last year, Navy was a great team, but they put a whooping on Navy. So it really didn't give them as much of a bump in those considerations as one may think. Just like last year, a lot of things out of their power got to happen for them to really be considered for that 12th spot, maybe even that 11th spot, especially when you're going to have a young Navy team that's going to be pretty good pushing for that. And my team, my group of 5 team as well, that I think is going to make a push for that is South Florida.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to how does Miami and Texas A&M season go the rest of the year. If they're top 5, top 10 teams in the country, those 2 losses look a lot different than if they don't make the playoff. I'll just remind everybody, Northern Illinois lost last year. Everyone said Notre Dame, no shot they're going to make the playoff, losing to a group of 5 team in the fashion that they did. A lot can happen over the next 11, 12 weeks of college football. I still believe a 10-2 Notre Dame team has a serious case to make the college football playoff.
Well, they are 0-2 for the first time in 3 years. We'll see if that ends up haunting them when the CFP is released, the final CFP rankings, but we've got a long way to go from there. Notre Dame coming up short at home. As you take a look at their record against SEC teams, it's their first loss under Marcus Freeman against an SEC squad. They had been 3-0, and they lose here by 1, a mistake by the holder Tyler Buckner. But look, you can't make mistakes. You can't have a holding call late in the game to extended drive. A lot of people can certainly take the onus on this one for the loss at home. But Notre Dame will get back to work as they start the season 0-2.